Hello and welcome to another video designed to support my course It's Never Too Late to Learn IT. This video is one of the private ones and it's only accessible to those of you that have purchased the course. In this video we're going to look at some of what I call the basic Windows terms. In the course I've included this page where I explain some of those basic Windows terms. Although I'm using Microsoft Word to show you the basic Windows functions, they're actually put there by Microsoft Windows and are common across many of the apps that you might download onto your device. The first thing we're going to look at is these three symbols here at the top right of the screen. There's a minus sign, a double square and a cross. We're going to start by looking at the minus sign. So if you're using a mouse, you're going to click the left mouse button gently and quickly once on the minus sign, and if you're using a touch screen device, just tap gently on the minus sign. Your app has disappeared from the screen, but it hasn't been closed, because if you look at the bottom on your taskbar, you should see that your app is surrounded by a very faint square and has a yellow line underneath it. And you can restore your app simply by clicking on the symbol on the taskbar at the bottom of the screen. Next we're going to look at the double square, or restore down. So I'm going to use the left mouse button to gently click on that, or if you're a touch screen user, just tap gently on it, and you'll see that your app reduces in size so that it only fills part of the screen. The most common use for this button is if your app opens itself in this smaller format. I've seen many students struggling to try to do their word processing in a small window, when they could in fact just click on this square, which will now say maximize, so that the app fills the screen and they have more space to work with. While we're looking at the restore down function, I'm just going to show you a useful little skill which we'll talk about later on the course, and that is dragging and dropping. So I'm going to point my mouse cursor at a blank bit of the strip across the top of Microsoft Word. I'm going to press the left mouse button and hold it down, or if you're a touch screen user, press your finger gently on the screen and hold it there. Then I'm going to move my mouse, or you'll move your finger, and you'll see that this window moves with you. And as long as you don't let go of the mouse or remove your finger from the screen, you can move it anywhere. That's dragging. And when you've got it where you want it to be, let go of the mouse, that's dropping. So I'm now going to restore my window to full size by clicking on Maximize, so that I can now show you the third of those icons, which is the cross. And as it says, the cross closes the app that you're working on. So if I click or tap on the cross, I will have closed Microsoft Word. And if you look at the bottom on the taskbar now, you'll see that there's no longer a yellow line underneath the W for Word. So I'll just open Word again and open that document again so that I can show you more of the basic Windows terms. So if we just go through the graphic on page 12 of this course, you'll see that we talk about minimize, restore and close, which I've already explained to you. We talk about your document's name, which if you look at the screen here you'll see is at the top. When you first start a new document, and it doesn't have a name, it will just say something up there like document 1. But once you've saved a document for the first time, which I explain to you how to do later in the course, your document's name will appear at the top of the screen there. Many of the apps that you use these days, and many of the functions within Word, use what's known as the ribbon across the top, which is this strip across the top of Word. If I look up here at the top of the screen, this strip across the top of Word, where all the icons for the various functions that you can perform within your app are located. Moving further down the page, I show you the scroll bars. Now you can see one here on the right of the screen. Sometimes you'll see a horizontal scroll bar if what you're working on is too wide for the screen. There are several ways to scroll up and down your document. The safest way if you're a beginner is to use these little arrows, the upward pointing arrow and the downward pointing arrow. You can drag this button in the middle, you can click in the gaps, but your document will jump and it's hard to control. So the safest way is to use the little up and downward pointed arrows to move around your document. So if I click on the downward pointing arrow, you'll see that I'm scrolling slowly down through my work. If you're using a mouse with a wheel in the middle, you can also just turn the wheel, which is what I'm doing right now. And the final thing that we're going to look at is the taskbar at the bottom of your screen. And on the taskbar you have icons for all the apps that you have open. You have icons for apps that may not be open but have been what's known as pinned to the taskbar so that you can get quick access to open them when you need them. You have the time and the date, and over on the left here you have the search box, and then you have the Windows icon, which I'll talk about in a later video. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you shortly in the next video.